So I've been trying to find the right words to put out there in perspective of everything that's happening, especially what's transpired within the last 72 hours. And instead of trying to talk about individual things happening, I think the best way I can try and put my opinion out there is it's it's actually really hard to care. It's hard to care about things. And I'm not trying to say people don't care about things, but it's hard to put yourself out there and actually, now that the way we have these institutions and apparatus set up, you really have to go above and beyond what's put in front of you to find truth and fact rather than narrative. And we use all these words, but it's legitimate propaganda, and we're being put into these little bubbles and echo chambers and whatever else. But I think I look at life from a different view sometimes, especially, in my generation. We're like the last of the millennials, I guess, on that like fringe. It's a weird age to be in. We're all about to be 30, some of us are 30, whatever. And you can relate to some of the older crowds and still relate to some of the younger crowds, but we're kind of caught in the middle. And I feel like it's very easy to just go with the flow, but how can you, when you actually look around and realize how much shit is being thrown at us? I don't have a family, I don't have children, not yet at least. It's the goal every single day, that's what we all strive for. But especially if you do, how can you think that this is a life to leave for a future generation? It's not sustainable. They're making us out to be hateful towards everyone. If you don't think the same way on this, if we don't think the same way on that, we all have to butt heads. And on certain things it is unreconcilable, I understand, but I know for a fact people care more than they let on or are willing to put out there, because we live in a great country. The ideals and the principles of this country and the way it was founded, and the compact, which is our Constitution, is the most unique in the world. And we can have debates on, language on this amendment and this and that, but if we truly want to be a free country, it comes from the people, not a king, not a monarchy or an aristocracy or anything. We have the tools, and we have obfuscated that to people and let them rule over us. And in many cases, we've just allowed people we thought had the best intentions lie to us and lie about a lot of things. And now we're reaping the fruits of that, and the complacency is starting to get too much. And now you look around at wars that we've been fighting since we were children, coming, to an end and coming to a just disastrous crescendo. And you look around at how much your money's worth, and immigration, illegal immigration, just your borders being flooded, but you can't go travel in certain states to other states unless you show your proof of your vaccine. And just, I'm not going to sit here and rattle off all the individual things, but it's hard to be a type of person that does And I'm no one. I mean, that's not how I feel, but I have a job. I go to work every day. I'm trying to make the most of my life, but on the outside of that, I'm really trying to pay attention to what's happening to this country, this state, this area that I love and has given a lot to me. And what are we going to have to show for it and pass down if we don't buy in and care about it? You know, I'll have conversations with people and they're like, "Oh, I agree with what you said," or dude, this is so right, and this and that. You know, I'm not telling everybody to get on their soapbox and get on, you know, their social media and you know, post a million things a day. I'm that type of person because I don't know, maybe it's just I enjoy it, or just it gives me a sense of purpose, or I just don't know how to shut up. But I think everyone feels like they're alone in certain ways because they don't think that other people agree with them, and so they tend to not want to get in the fight, or it's easy to just go with the flow. You know, the culture goes certain ways and everybody just kind of flows with it, or you know, just, yeah, what can I do? I'm one guy. You know, what's it going to make a difference? But the more people kind of show that they don't want to live like this, or we kind of just want to be left alone and make it for ourselves, create our own, you know, our own lane, and be happy with the little things in life, not be just dragged down into this weird backwards culture. That's the difference. And I don't mind being the type of person to put myself out there. People will look at it if they agree with it or disagree with it. You'll ignore me if you don't care. Block me, unfollow me, don't talk to me in your personal life. And we can all be mature adults and understand that, but what's it gonna take for us all to understand that we do have way more in common, and the people that are pushing us all against each other, or you know, trying to broaden the gap between what we used to have, they have no intentions of doing anything well for this country or for us as a population at large. It's all just divide and conquer from within. And people who do care and do have, you know, well intentions should start making it known more. Because it's hard to care. It's hard to be involved. It's hard to find the information you need. And I can see why people just say, screw it. I got my sports, I got my Netflix and Hulu and everything else, and I can get any fast food I want delivered to my house. And complacency breeds more complacency, and taking yourself out of the matrix, and you know, not saying everything's a conspiracy and everything is, you know, everything's needs to be challenged, but you know, authority needs to be questioned, and narratives need to be questioned, and every story needs to be, you know, figured out. And doing that on your own, and finding people to stand with you is something that I've figured out over the last few years, especially as I've gotten older, that I'm in it, I'm involved, and we could really have a glorious place in history and in our own lives. It's not like we're all have, you know, this is like some big, oh, you know, amazing, look at how amazing it would be. I don't care about any of that, but I know that this is not how life was supposed to be. So think about if we all started to care a bit more about where we are, because if this is how life is every single day, can't sustain much longer. That's just my opinion.